today I've got a 3D Blu-ray review for you. Hold that round. And this came out on Monday here in the UK, and today it's Thursday. So let me know if you want to see more kind of reviews of Blu-rays or movies that have come out kind of around that week, you know, really recent kind of reviews of films that are out on Blu-ray DVD. Let me know if you want to see that by giving a thumbs up or in the comments down below, whichever. If you want to see more of this kind of thing, give a thumbs up and then I'll know. But for today we'll review Mr. Peabody and Sherman, the newest to Blu-ray DreamWorks movie. Now, I've become quite a big fan of DreamWorks over the past couple of years, a few years. I was always kind of like, yeah, DreamWorks are good, but Disney was always kind of here for me. DreamWorks, just these past few years, have been really good. I've been really enjoying all the stuff they've been throwing out. So when I saw Mr. Peabody and Sherman advertised, I was very excited about it. I thought it was really cool. You know, we've got the concept of time travel in this film, which I love, time travel concepts. And so I was very excited. I didn't get a chance to see it in the cinema, but I picked it up as soon as it came out in 3D Blu-ray. I watched the 3D version. Now I will say with DreamWorks I always enjoy their 3D Blu-rays. 3D, I think they do it really well. I can see they put time and effort into it, so I'm never worried about getting a 3D movie from them because I always feel like it's going to deliver. Sometimes you can get a 3D movie and it's not that 3D and you think, well, I could have watched this in 2D and it not made a massive difference. Now this isn't the most 3D-ish DreamWorks release, but I still think they did the 3D well. It kind of, you know, the characters would be out of the screen slightly. The depth was really nice in some of the scenes. They did have pop-out moments and really cute stuff like that, and I really enjoyed watching it in 3D, and I kind of feel like it did add to this film. So I recommend, I've got 5 DreamWorks Blu-rays on 3D. And I recommend them. I've obviously, you know, I've not got them all, but I've got 5 of the DreamWorks releases, and they're the kind of newer ones. So I'm not sure about the ones that weren't originally intended for 3D. All the ones that I have were intended for 3D, so don't quote me on that. But the ones that are intended for 3D, I always think they do a good job. So I'd always recommend DreamWorks' 3D Blu-rays if you have a 3D TV. Anyway, so with that being said, you know, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, if you have a 3D TV, I'd recommend getting this one in 3D. It adds a bit to it. It's just a lot of fun. So, onto the story. We have Mr. Peabody here, and this is Sherman. Mr. Peabody here who adopts Sherman, this young boy. And obviously it's a kind of a strange concept and it sounds a little bit silly, but don't let that put you off this movie because I enjoyed it a lot. Going into it in the beginning, I kind of thought, oh, okay, this is going to maybe be a movie that's going to be like, we want you to learn, and we want you to know this and that and this. And I was like, oh no. But even though it does do a lot of learning and knowing and knowledge, this movie is clever and I like that. But at the beginning I thought it was going to be a bit forced. But after the beginning, it's not. You just don't even think about it. It just goes with the movie and it works really well. I think for very small children, like 3 and 5, I guess, a lot of this stuff will go over their heads, but I still think it'll be an enjoyable film for them. But like, you know, older kids, like maybe 8-year-olds and 13-year-olds and stuff, I think they could really learn something from this film as well. You know, maybe an 8-year-old might be learning about ancient Egypt, and it's got some ancient Egypt in there. A 13-year-old might be learning about, I don't know what 13-year-olds learn about, but they've got like the Renaissance in this briefly, and might be learning about that. Anyway, so there's like, you know, little things that, you know, kids can kind of learn a bit from, but it's not too forced. So for people who are adults or older, I guess I'm an adult, but I would just say older than a kid, I don't know, that I still really enjoyed it and wasn't felt like I was being forced to learn, but it was enjoyable. It was nice to go back in time in history, which is what they're doing, and I loved it. And also, if you're a big history fan, a big history buff, you might also really enjoy this too. However, if you're not, like I say, it's just a great story, and I think you'd enjoy it too. So basically, the kind of concept, I guess, is they can time travel, which is awesome fun, and Mr. Peabody uses it to kind of teach Sherman, you know, about the ways of the world, and he goes back and meets famous people in history and historical landmarks and stuff like that, which is really fun. But he also uses it, you know, well, basically there's a big point of why it's being used in the film. I don't want to kind of spoil that. Yeah, so another kind of line along the film, like a subplot, I suppose, but is that Sherman goes to school for the first time. And obviously it's kind of a bit of a thing with his father being a dog. It's like, well, so he gets kind of into the situation, and then they look into the situation of should Sherman be with Mr. Peabody as a responsible father, and they kind of, you know, question whether he should be taken away from him. And that's kind of another like path in the storyline here. So you know, and the way back needs to be used, and it's very, very funny and very, very great. And Sherman has a friend called Penny, and I won't really go too much into her, but at the beginning she's like, you just do not like her, and then, you know, she warms on you. Yes, she's a fun character too. So I also have one little gripe with the film, and this is a tiny little thing, but I thought it was really interesting. Obviously kids films always kind of, it does have a message at the end, and I loved the message it had. I like the kids film has a message, that's fine, they always do, and I liked the message this one gave. But I saw like another message opportunity for another message, and I was like, oh, it's a shame they didn't do that. So Sherman is, well, I won't tell you what he's doing. Sherman's doing something basically, I won't give it away, and his friend Penny says, oh, you can do it, Sherman, and it's kind of telling him, you know, oh, you can do this, like, you know, it's possible that you can do this and go for it and whatever. And he, you know, kind of starts to be he does quite well at it. And then Mr. Peabody says, no, Sherman, you don't know how to do that, you don't know how to do that, you can't do that. And then it kind of all goes downhill, and he panics and thinks, oh, I can't do this. And then it kind of never mentioned too much about it again, whereas I thought it would have been nice to then point out the fact that when Sherman was told that he could do it, he could do it, and when he was told he couldn't do it, he panicked and thought he couldn't do it. So, you know, if you believe you can do something, then you probably will have more chance of being able to do it, whereas someone keeps telling you can't do it, you can't do it, or you keep thinking, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it, then there's more chance you're going to fail. I thought that was kind of I thought they were going to come back to that, and I was kind of waiting, I was excited for this message, I was like, yeah, and they didn't really, so I was kind of disappointed about that. But that is probably the only like little thing I had wrong with the film, so if that's kind of all I had wrong with it, then you know that this is a pretty good animation movie. I also really liked the soundtrack in the movie, and there was a particular scene where it had this song, Beautiful Boy, John Lennon. I'm not sure if that's exactly the title of the song. And it's like this little montage, and it was so cute, and I absolutely loved that bit. And the 3D in that little montage too was great. That was just on point, and I loved it, and it was just a perfect scene. This montage thing was like my favourite scene in the movie, and I loved it. If you've seen the movie, you probably know what I mean. So yeah, overall I give Mr. Peabody and Sherman a 4 out of 5 stars, and I loved it a lot. 5 out of 5 is pretty hard to gain, so it doesn't quite be there, but it's been more than 4, but I don't do halves or quarters and stuff, so it's higher than a 4, but it's not quite a 5, but I really enjoyed it. As for DreamWorks Animations, I really loved this. I recommend that you check it out. Kind of, if you don't think you'll like the concept, don't let that put you off. It's not like a stupid kids movie, it's actually quite a smart, clever, cute, heartwarming kids movie. I really enjoyed it, and obviously it's not just a kids film, it's an everybody film. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. If you've got children, they're probably going to like this. If you want to teach your children about history, you can probably do that with this too. If you like animations and enjoy the other DreamWorks movies, I recommend this movie. I loved it, and I can't wait to watch this one again. I know I'm going to watch this one multiple times. So that's my review of Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and want to see more 3D Blu-ray reviews or just movie reviews in general. Comment down below if you've seen Mr. Peabody and Sherman and your thoughts on it. I'd love to know what you think of it too. Have you seen it in 3D? Have you just seen it in general? Let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you are a newbie, and I will see you guys next time. So don't forget, keep smiling peeps, and I will see you then. Goodbye!